rich yet.
Lifetime value of a customer.
So lifetime value, very important, right? Because the person that buys from you, let's say that you're selling a, I don't know, you just made a custom GPT on ChatGPT, right? And you're selling that custom GPT for $5. And
Well,
maybe you sold the course.
let's just talk about, let's break it down simpler than that. We're getting, you have a high ticket program of 10K and that's what you want to sell people. Okay? And you created a low ticket product so that way you can get buyers. Okay? Maybe this is a $100 product, an intro product to your 10K. Well, we figured out our AOV, okay, how much they're giving us, which is probably 97 bucks or more because that's what I'm selling. But if they stay in my program for 6 months, they're going to give me 20 grand total because they're going to upgrade to my $10,000 coaching program or a done for you service. So my average lifetime value of that customer is not $97 as my first product. It's actually worth 20 grand. So everybody that gives me $97 is actually worth 20,000 as a lifetime value of my customer. Now, when you do these numbers, you actually have to break it down within 6 months to 12 months of you running the same offer before you can even figure out what this number is. And this is where the big boys play. Big boys play on lifetime value of their customer, not on the CPA. Little people play on the CPA. They build a business off of the CPA. But you have to, the only way to get their third number is to be doing it for a while, like 12 months, right? At least a year of continuous people buying from you on a regular basis. Then I'll do my advertising budget based off of my lifetime value and not on my CPA. Okay? As long as it doesn't cost me 20 grand to get a buyer, I can spend as much money as I want, right? Because I'm going to be getting all those people funneled in. All right? And that's really the that's the big number. Once you learn it, you have just endless advertising power. Like, you really figure out how much you can spend every day. And this is when people start spending $100,000 days, right? Because they're playing this 3 years from now. They're like, hey, we already know that everybody that we get this year, they're not going to pay us this year. They're going to pay us next year. So those thousands of people that we got to either become a lead or buy the first $97 product, I'm banking in 6 months to 12 months, I'm having a percentage of them pay me 20 grand. And I already know they're going to because we have our numbers from last year. And this is when we start getting into that real predictable income.
Yeah. I agree with that because when you are selling, and again, that's why we also love low ticket offers, is because if somebody comes into the world and joins you by paying you a $5 or a $97 item, right? Course, book, whatever you call it, they're not just value $97, like Colton said, right? Because 3 months from now, you can be doing a new webinar. 3 months from that, you can do a challenge, right? And you can sell different things. And that person that already gave you money might be already happy with how you teach, your knowledge and everything. And they will buy the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So every offer and every moment that you're pitching and they continue to buy, it increases that lifetime value of that customer all the way to the high ticket, which is your 5K, 10K, 20K, etc. So lifetime value is a very important number. Um, and it's the one like he said, like people that are actually scaling and they know their numbers. This is why it's so important to know the numbers, because you can rely that percent of conversion, right? There's a percentage of that people that is gonna fit that lifetime value of the customer. You know that person, right? Let's say 10% of your audience is worth 20 grand because you know that you can convert 20% of the people, right? So that's why that number it becomes so important when you're scaling your business.
Yep. If you don't know your CPA and if you don't know your AOV and you don't know your lifetime value of a customer, I already know you're struggling. So Get those things in place, figure out what they are so you can have a base foundation. These are your daily numbers. These are the things that you should look at every day. And that's how you run your business. That's how you make your decisions on what needs to be fixed and what's not. Is you start with those three numbers and then you move into the nitty-gritty stuff.
If this save you time, money, or frustrations, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And if you want our help dialing this for your business, just go to launchesandconversions.com, book a call with us, and either Colton and I will look at your stuff and help you get better results. That's where we're going to go deeper. Okay. So see you on the next episode.